Friends, in this video, we're gonna build an extension off of the greenhouse to give ourselves a planter room with a functioning sink, a workbench, and an area to keep all of my pots and tools and supplies. Without further ado, let's get into today's build. I knew when I built the greenhouse that I was gonna wanna have a planting area where all the soil, anything dirty, messy, the pots and all that could stay, and I could do transplanting, but it wasn't inside the greenhouse, which is why I left this area open. I've teamed up with my friends at Mendocino Hardwoods. We're gonna build off of the greenhouse, make a fun little planter area. We're gonna use redwood for this project. I'm super excited. Let's get to it. Okay, before I can get started, I need to remove all the debris, the leaves. I wanna pressure wash the floor, remove the old planter table, and then I can assess the build. I'm gonna use 2x4 redwood, and I'm gonna build the exact same shape of the greenhouse, keeping the same roof slope across. Once I get to the 2-foot step up, then we're gonna need to reassess the actual build where the doorway is, but we'll cross that bridge once I get to it. Okay, I feel like I've made some great progress. We have a good amount of the structure built, but now I need to figure out the doorway. And in order to figure out the doorway, I also want to figure out the step going in. This was just made with some scraps when I originally built off this area, and I had always intended on, you know, obviously revisiting this, so now's the time. I'm gonna actually make it a little bigger. This is a 2-foot wide. I'm gonna make it 3. That way it matches up with the doorway. So I'm gonna disassemble this, see if I can maybe salvage the side pieces, and then just cut some new boards that are 3 feet long. We'll rebuild the step, and then we'll get to framing out the door. Okay, now we have a 3-foot wide step instead of a 2-foot, and I did the extra step by adding support in there. Extra step, see what I did there? While creating this, feel really good about it. Now I just need to attach the top ones, and then we'll move it into place, start finishing off the door frame. I'm using simple pocket hole construction method and using my level to dictate, making sure that everything is level as I construct, and I'm just going along making sure that everything's supported as I build out this structure. All right, I'm getting started a little earlier today because I'm trying to beat the sun since I'm gonna be working on the roof area. I put one of the panels up last night to just see how everything fit, and I think I'm gonna need to make a little bit of a channel on this back end for the roofing to slide into and stay secure. So I'm gonna throw it up there, reassess it one more time. I also picked up this aluminum thresholding. It's like a floor threshold. It's got pre-drilled holes. My thought process, I'm gonna mount it on the 2x4, and then that gives me coverage that connects from the existing greenhouse to the new add-on, and that keeps it just watertight, gives a little channel for the water to run down. So that's my thought process. We'll mount that. I'll probably use some silicone caulk just to make sure it's all watertight. Probably mount this first, and then we'll start figuring out the channel groove for the roofing. Let's get to it. So I ended up not having to cut a channel, which was perfect for the corrugated roofing. I found this transition piece, which was meant for corrugated roofing. It slipped right underneath the existing roof, and then I just used watertight screws to attach everything. It went together so easy. Well, I got a roof. I mean, that feels so good. I'm glad I went with the darker tinted one because it gives a lot more shade. Feels a lot cooler in there. Tomorrow I'll assess this area here. I'll frame that out. I'm gonna use some of this polycarbonate that I have on hand. I'm back and forth if I'm gonna do just this section or the bottom as well. This is all gonna get screened in with some nice woodworking going in. But yeah, I got a roof and I feel good about it. So we'll call it for today, and we'll get back to it again tomorrow. Okay, I'm working on this back bottom wall section, and I'm gonna make 2 panels. I cut out some grooves on these 1x1s on the table saw so that the panel fits nicely in here. But let's frame this out and get that little bottom section set in with a window. Okay, I got the 2 bottom panels in. Looks good, it's nice and tight. I was originally gonna use the exact same material for this section here, but I'm thinking that I might wanna use the tinted roof material instead. So I'm gonna lay out a sheet and see what it looks like and then make my judgment call from there. I decided to go with the tinted corrugated roofing for this panel area here and just framed it out the same way I did with the roof area. Well, I got that roofing panel section on just in time because of course the next day it rained. But it held up great. Everything's nice and dry inside. So it means everything obviously held well. It was a good test. But I was obviously hoping to have more coverage on this before that. I mean, but it is what it is. Yeah, So I'm gonna let everything dry and then we'll continue to build the outside area. Okay, I've made great progress so far on this build out. Next, I'm gonna start working on the planter bench and the sink that's gonna go in this corner. I'm gonna relocate the sink from over there into here. I got a longer hose so we can change up the plumbing to bring it into here, and I'll have it drain out the back. So let's get to working on a planter bench. I'm stoked that I was able to incorporate a couple parts and pieces from a previous planter bench that I had made with a working, functioning sink. I got the sink from a Goodwill and the faucet off of Amazon, and I just hook it up to a hose and now have it drain out the back into a plant. It's nice to be able to have a sink in the planter room so I can wash my hands after working with the soil. Then I just covered up the front section with some redwood so you didn't see the sink components. Okay, sometimes it takes like sleeping on a project and coming back to it the next day to kind of see some more design elements. So originally I was gonna stop right around there, and then I was gonna do some slats and some screening. But after looking at it, I think I'm gonna add 2 more boards. I'm gonna take that little trim piece out that's in between there, and that'll bring that up. And then I'm gonna add a shelf on either side, which helps like kind of just cap that. Then we'll do screens and the rest of that. So I'm gonna take that piece of trim off and then cut down 2 more planks. Finish this side off, finish this side off. We'll do some shelves on the outside. We'll work on some screens. We'll keep moving along. But yeah, changing up a little bit of the design element. I am so excited about having a sink in here and having it work. I added that shelf with a little angle cut. I'm probably gonna do the same thing over there. It's just looking so good. I love how it's trimmed out in the front. I still gotta figure out what I'm doing underneath. Maybe making some shelving and stuff like that, but let's finish off the front. Let's get back to it. After I finished off the front slats, I worked on trimming out the windows on the inside, as well as giving a couple more shelves, and then I moved on to the triangular windows using some of the roofing material. What a productive day today. I got the shelves on the outside with the 45-degree angles. We got all of these with the roofing material in there, nice and taut. I also have it all trimmed out on the inside. That gave it like a lip for that to actually attach to. I might put trim on the outside as well. I trimmed out the window area so I have a lip to put the screens that I'm gonna make tomorrow. Added a couple more shelves with the 45-degree angles. It's just looking so good. I love that the sink is functioning. That's fun. And we got a bench now. It's just looking so good. I also got a set of lights that I've been waiting on, so we'll hang those up tonight, which will be fun, get some light in here. But it's just looking so good. I'm so happy with this, so proud of the outcome. The redwood looks just so stunning. Oh, it's looking so good. I love this. Now let's make some screens for this area. It's fairly simple. I'm just cutting down these metal screen channels on my miter saw. I pull out the splines, stretch the screen over the top, put the splines back in. Bada boom, bada bing, we got a screen. Let's make some screens. Got one made already, finished over here, looking good. Let's see it from the inside. Beautiful, nice and tight. Let's finish it off by making one big screen for this one. All right, we got screens. There's a screen on this side and over here. I love it. Now we're moving on to this triangular window situation. I've cut out my framing for it. There's a bunch of different specific angles that had to get cut here. And I got my sheet of plexi, which just fell over and cracked. Thankfully, oh, so stressing this for a moment. Thankfully it cracked past the point where I'm gonna cut. So I'm gonna put this down safely. I'm going to take and cut a channel on all these boards on the table saw so that the plexi sits in nicely. We'll cut the plexi to fit. We'll assemble it, put the window in, and then keep moving right along. You hear that snap into place? Oh, when it's right, and it's tight. Oh wait, this still needs to go more. But we're close. We're close. Okay. Whew. Love it. Wow. Talk about professional. So good. Okay, hear me out. We're so close to being done, but I want to add one more element. I left that board a little bit long because originally I was thinking of doing a little bit of like an overhang and I just wasn't sure exactly how I was going to go about it, but I think I've figured it out. I'm going to put a 2x4 here. I already got the angle cut, and I'm going to do a 2x6 all the way across, which gives that little extra overhang. It doesn't need it, but I feel like visually it needs it. And then I'm gonna decide if we're gonna continue it off this end here. So let me go throw the 2x6 up, measure where I'm gonna cut it at this angle, and then we'll decide if we continue it all the way down. Okay, I'm loving the overhang. It was the way to go. It didn't need it, but visually it needs it and I love it. However, I'm already noticing that by having two of the 2x6s right next to each other, this gap is not sealed. So the morning dew is just running off and dripping right here. I got a solution though. I'm gonna wrap this top section in copper, giving this like a little copper roofing situation. I'm gonna also seal the crack with some caulking first. So let's give it a copper roof. We're just going extra with this whole project. Okay, I'm gonna finish off the roof with one more sheet of copper and some weather stripping nails. I'm gonna put this sheet underneath that one so it gives a nice weather coating. Let's get to it. And there it is, a copper roof. And a little overhang. I might do something to seal this down just a little bit more, but not bad. Your girl loves some good lighting. So I ordered this little Amazon wall mounted sensor light that I'm gonna put over in the corner there. Let's mount it on the wall. The Amazon solar light for the win. I ended up getting a second one and flanking on the other end because it was just too good not to have two of them. Okay, I'm gonna start the morning off since it's pretty cool in here and the sun's not out. I'm gonna fill the shelves with like all of my pots that I have. I wanna do some fun things on these little smaller shelves. I have some glass containers that I wanna fill with like seashells. I've already started to put like stuff like this, like some crystals. I pulled a couple things from the greenhouse and then I already had some stuff on hand. So let's fill these shelves. And when I say fill, I don't wanna fill, but I just wanna place stuff in certain areas. I'm gonna clean off the wall control and put some of my tools and things back on there, fill the drawers with all the things that I need, like all my tools. So let's get to actually putting things in this little greenhouse, planting room, planter greenhouse room. What are we calling this? All right, I got a couple of rad packages for the greenhouse planter room. That's what we're calling it. My friends over at Bright Light Tribe sent me this rad neon that says plants. I know exactly where I want to hang it, right above the entrance before you go into the greenhouse. It looks rad. Thanks again, friends at Bright Light Tribe. All right, this is a fun package. I've teamed up with my friends at Door to You to make our screen door for the greenhouse. It comes as a build your own assembly kit. It's super simple and easy. You can customize your own or go with the sizes they have off the site. I did a custom size for the greenhouse. They set you with all the tools for success. So let's build a screen for the greenhouse. We have a screen door and it's custom fit to the greenhouse. It's just sitting in there now. I need to install the hinges and the handle, but huge shout out to Doors to You. Highly recommend if you're looking for a screen door. They custom fit it to your size or you can do a standard size. They send you the kit with all the tools that you need to make it. It's simple and easy to assemble, as you can see. Highly recommend checking out Doors to You. Now let's get back to finishing off this build. Okay, I picked up a fan off Amazon. It's actually the exact same fans that I have in the greenhouse. It's remote control, that way I can just boop, turn it on when I come into the planter room, and I can also turn the greenhouse on. It gets pretty warm in here. It's actually cooling down right now in the afternoon, but I think having a fan here on remote will be prime ideal, so let's install it up in the top corner. All right, friends, it's time to wrap up this build by protecting this beautiful red wood and bringing out the color with the Halcyon Clear by Total Boat. I'm gonna give it a couple coats, maybe 3, and we'll also coat the screen door, and then we'll call it a wraps. Oh, that Halcyon just makes the redwood pop. I gave multiple coats so it's nice and weather tight and sealed, and it looks beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's exactly how I envisioned it to turn out. And with that said, this build is complete. I'm so stoked with the outcome. Well, friends, we've come a long way from just having the greenhouse and an open area that I had to step down into to now an awesome greenhouse planter room with a functioning sink, an area that I can plant and transplant and keep my pots and soil, everything neat and tidy and separate from the greenhouse itself. I'm so thrilled with how this turned out. Thanks for sticking around, friends, and until next time when we do another fun build together. How rude of me to not give you a tour of the greenhouse. While I still got you, let me give you a quick tour of the greenhouse and some of the tropical plants that I grow and cultivate. It's one of my happy places, so thank you again for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed this build. Until next time, friends, when we get to hang out together again.